right now. Right now.
Most of the influencers that I've seen have definitely had a positive impact on me.
Oh, well, whatever. Sorry about that, Rabbi. Right now.
Most of the influencers that I've seen have definitely had a positive impact on me.
Sorry about that, Rabbi. Turn it out. Right now. Here we go. It's all good. Can you hear me?
Most of the influencers that I've seen have definitely had a positive impact on me.
Sorry about that, Rabbi. Turn it out. Right now. Can you hear me? Rabbi Lewis. Rabbi Lewis, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You're on mute.
Can you talk to me?
Yeah, can you hear me? I
can hear you.
I hear you now.
You had a song playing in the back, brother.
Yeah, it's gone. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Something happened. I don't know what happened. Something went crazy. Anyway, I'd like to welcome you to Absolute Knowledge of the Torah. Your discussion today that you wanted to talk about is where are the Israelites today? Rabbi Lewis, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone to let them know who you are.
Certainly, old I'm in the Shaitan Rajim, Bishop my name of a lot of most merciful, especially merciful. My name is Rabbi Lewis, aka Louis Islam, aka Real Islam. A little bit about me. I'm a published author with over 35 books. Go to Amazon, type in Rabbi Lewis. I'm gonna put my background academically is in parasitology, investment banking and Arabic studies. It's an honor to be on your show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to have you. So what subject matter besides talking about where the Israelites are today would you like to also discuss? Anything else besides that?
Yeah, check out my book, Home for Hustlers, a book I wrote on the stock market. I'm an investment banker myself. The average millionaire has 9 streams of income, passive income. Learn how to build 9 streams of passive income. Also, learn how companies like Kylie Cosmetics by Kylie Jenner.
So I'm sorry for cutting you off, Rabbi. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but you do know today where I'm at right now, we're still in the Shabbat. So I would prefer not to talk about business.
Okay, so we have the Shabbat where Shabbat's over. So.
Oh yeah, over here the sun is still up, and so. And,
I apologize. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. In honor of the Most High Elohim Yahweh, I like to, thank you for that consideration.
Certainly, I'm in the East Coast, so it's already Shabbat's over. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know, and I forgot to tell you that. So that's my fault. So I take credit for that. All right, so let's talk about Yisrael. So give us the insight on where they are and who you're talking about. Are you talking about the northern tribes? Are you talking about Judah? Who are you talking about?
Certainly, all 12 tribes are just scattered abroad, as James 101 says.
Yeah, but isn't the so-called Jews over there, which they call themselves Ashkenazim, aren't they? They call themselves Jews, right? Are they the children of Israel, or they claim?
They're Edomites.
They're Edomites. Okay, so all right. So according to Deuteronomy chapter number 23, it tells us that we should never hate our brother, the Edomite, or despise him. So I want to be clear that we don't despise the Edomite because
that's been academically challenged, if I could respond to that.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a clerical error. If you look at that word, that verse in the Blue Letter Bible, it tells you that's a clerical error. It should say, thou shalt not abhor Assyrian. Because remember, so in Alberta sheet 26, Jacob was Assyrian, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it should say, thou shalt not abhor Assyrian, not an Edomite. And we look at that, it's a clerical error.
Okay, so let's look at it. So it's in Deuteronomy chapter number 23, I believe, verse number 7 or 8, correct?
I don't know which verse it is, but look at that on the blue letter. To tell you, you look at that.
Well, I'm gonna look at it right here. I'm looking at the Bible Hub, and you see here it is verse number 7. No, it doesn't say in Assyrian. It says
It's referencing the blue letter Bible.
it says in Adomi in the Hebrew. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the blue letter Bible right quick.
Yes.
I'm gonna look at that right quick. The blue letter Bible, gotta work. And let's see what they say in the Hebrew rendering, because I know sometimes some translations, they kind of give you the wrong information. So I'm looking right now in Deuteronomy, and I'm gonna look in chapter number. And matter of fact, for the people that are on viewing audience, it would probably be best if I would go ahead and show what I seeing on my screen. I want to show that to them. Is that okay? So yeah, chapter number 23. We're in the blue letter Bible, verse number 7. As you can see right here, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. And you said that it was an Assyrian that you said?
Yeah, click Edomite there. H1 through 0.
Yeah, it's right here, 130. Yeah.
Yeah, click that.
It's an Adomi, right?
Now go down. It should say.
Right. It's Edomite 11 times, and they do translate it one time, but all the other times is 11. And it says an Edomite. So according to the text, according to what we have here,
H123, patronymic for H123. I don't remember where it's at. You might have to click that one.
This one here, the 2-3?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let's do that. I'm loving this. This is great. So we can look at stuff together. H123.
Yeah, I believe it's that.
It's Edom, right? So it's the Edomite, the red one, our brother, the Esau, the ones that they call the Ashkenazi, the one that some people call the white man, according to some of these other 12, groups in IUIC and other camps. They're going out here talking about, Esau this, Esau that, and, we hate them and we're despise them and all this kind of stuff. And what we find here is that according to what the creator of the heavens and the earth says, he says for us not to despise them. Here it is, right here, verse number 7, lo. And in Hebrew, lo is a negative particle, which means never, absolutely never. Lo in Hebrew means never, an absolute no, not to a certain point in time. He means forever, that you will tha'av, that means abhor an Edomite, for he is the kiakika, he is your brother. So for you clowns out there, they're going around saying that you should hate the Esau, or hate the Edomite, or hate the Jewish people if they are indeed the Edomites.
I apologize. Click H726. You see, this is in the clerical error. Not H123, H726.
Are you talking about the same one? Are you talking about from the Blue Bible letter?
Yes. Yeah, I apologize. That's the wrong. I clicked H123. We're going to click H726.
Okay. So it says, see that one. Okay. So let's look at it. All right. So this one right here is Aromi, which is an Aramaic, right? Or Armenian. That's what it is. Aramite, which is an Assyrian. Okay. So
what do it say? Strong's definition.
Yeah, Strong's definition, right? Okay, let's see, transliteration, variant spelling, Strong's definition, yeah. Aromi.
It says Aromi, a clerical error.
Yeah. So it's a clerical error on 130, but not representing all 11 times. Jacob's brother is not Assyrian. Jacob's brother came out the same womb that he came out of, correct?
No, remember Jacob married Jethro. No, was that?
No, Jacob.
Laban. I'm sorry, Laban.
Laban, he married his daughters. Yes, he married.
Yeah, Laban. Remember, Laban was a Syrian.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's an Assyrian. Yeah, I got you. But That's not talking in that text that I quoted out of Davarim chapter 23, verse number 7. He's talking about, he didn't mention an Assyrian or an Aromi. He said your brother. And the question is did Yaakov have a brother, a twin brother? And his name is Esau, correct?
Right. Can we get Deuteronomy 26:5? Who's that talking about here?
Okay, so if you look at, and you just don't want to stay in blue letter Bible, do you want to go to
whatever you want to do? Deuteronomy 26:5.
okay,
KJ.
you'll do that. Let's go there for 26 and 5. So would you concede the point or the fact that, and according to Deuteronomy 23, verse number 7, he's not referring to a Syrian, he's referring to his twin brother or someone from his line, correct?
Yeah, I disagree. I believe it should say Syrian there.
There's one exception, though. I would say this. There is an exception that says that that he wanted him to destroy an Amalekite, which are coming directly from Edom's family. He says you should never seek their peace whatsoever. So
yeah, remember what the religion, the holiday Purim was about, right?
yeah, I want to say that for sure. So it's not all of them. It's just one group of, and that's his grandson, the Amalekites, right?
Yeah, remember your boy Haman of Haman, Haman of Amadatha. Was it an Amalekite?
Yeah, but all Amalekites are done. So we know
No,
that.
Saul didn't wipe them out, brother. Hashem told Saul to wipe them out.
He never did it. But he never did. I know he never did. But what I'm saying, according to what the Creator has said about the Edomite, right? He said he's your brother. So he says you shall never despise him. You should never hate him like he hates you.
Yeah,
right?
but he said we should don't eat him according to my anger. Correct?
Right, but that's his anger, not our anger.
Certainly, I would agree.
So Davarim is words that the Creator spoke to us to tell us.
You just said that's the Amalekites. There's Obadiah said we're going to wipe the Israelites out.
But he said, but the Creator is talking about what he's going to do, not what he wants, not what he says that.
No, I'm asking you a question. Does Obadiah says we're going to wipe the Edomites out? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, you agree with that? Has that happened yet?
No, it hasn't.
Okay. John I. Cranus, didn't he convert the Edomites to Judaism?
Yes, he did.
Was he was a Maccabee, right?
Yes, he was.
Okay, they were Levites, correct?
No.
The Maccabees were Levites.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't.
But let's go back to Deuteronomy 26:5, and I want to dive into the presentation.
Okay, so which one did you want to go into?
Deuteronomy 26:5. Who's that talking about?
Okay, 26 and 5. So Davarim, 26 and 5. All right, Let's see. Of course, when it talks about okay, so here it is. When he says, thou shalt speak, because he's talking about bringing the first fruits. He says, once you go into the land, in context, he says, thou shalt speak and say, before Yahweh, their Elohim, Assyrian, right? Which is his father. To perish was my father when he went down into Mizraim, okay? And he sojourned there with a few, okay? And became there a nation, great and mighty and populous. Okay, so
who's that talking about?
Yeah, I know it's talking about Yaakov, right?
Yes, correct.
So here's what he called him. He called him
Syrian, right? Hashem called him Syrian, right?
That's what he called him. Yes, exactly. So, but is he calling him this because that's who he's from, or is he calling him this because that's where he resided at that time? He's not talking about his nationality or his culture, his heritage. He's not talking about that. He's talking about where he had dwelt for many years as he did. He took on the name of an Assyrian because that's where he lived for what? How many years did he stay there? 20-something years? 21 years? Yeah. So if what you're saying then is you're saying that, and also too, let's look at it this way. His mother, right? Rivkah came from this part of the land, right? She was Laban's sister, correct?
Correct.
Abraham said, send them, right? Go send my sons and take a wife from where I came from. And so the same thing that he sent for Yishmael, which is Rivkah, he sent they sent him back over there to her family's house as well to pull somebody. So on his side of his father is Hebrew, Ivrit, and on his mother, okay, is the Assyrian. She's the, excuse me, the Aromi.
Certainly. What's interesting about that, you remember when Joseph went to go bury Jacob in Canaan?
Yeah.
And the Canaanites was like, they mistook them for Egyptians. It was like, is this a mourning of the Egyptians? Obviously, because they were all people of color. They were all black.
Right.
So
that's a good point. But I like you bringing this out, because if you think about it, Abraham was from Mesopotamia, right? He's from Ur Chaldees, right?
I mean, the earth didn't exist at the time. Earth didn't exist 2,000 years after Abraham lived.
But that's fine.
Most scholars
Say
assert
he's Akkadian. Say he's Akkadian. Say he's a Mesopotamian.
Earth didn't exist back then. Earth didn't exist. That's a later term. Like, for example, Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom means be burnt to scorch. So we know they named it in hindsight later. Sodom and Gomorrah was named Sodom after it was destroyed. That was the name it was called before they destroyed. I shouldn't destroyed it because it means to be burnt. So it just makes no sense.
Okay. So in terms of when they're writing it and they're telling us the narrative.
Yeah, for example, give me Genesis 14:14 real quick.
Okay. Genesis 14:14.
Show you some of that. So like, you can see this is written later.
Genesis 14:14. And that's talking about when he called him a high Ivri. Is that what you're talking about? When he mentioned him as being when they were going into the 5 kings against the 4 kings? And he
no, that's different verse.
It's okay. So here it is. I know 13 says this about let's see. I think they called it, I think it was in
verse 14.
Yeah. I think I was in chapter 13. It talked about when they called him the Ivri. Okay. They called him the high Ivri, the Ivrim. All right. So the one who crosses over.
14.
So 14:13 says, when Abraham heard his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
Right.
Yes.
Dan, Dan didn't exist when Abraham lived. Dan was his great grandson. When Dan lived, Abraham was not alive. So how could he have gone to Dan?
So you think there's only one Dan? You think since there's only one Dan in the Bible, is that what you're saying?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're saying there's
no,
only
one. He
one.
went to Dan. He said he pursued him unto Dan. That proves this was written later because Dan didn't exist back then.
All right, so here it is.
The tribe of Dan didn't exist. Abraham lived before.
Okay, so here it is. You're saying that Dan did not exist.
No, Abraham had a son named Isaac, had a son named Jacob, had 12 sons.
I know, I got it.
One of Jacob's sons was Dan. Abraham was dead when Dan was born. You agree?
Well, yes, that's true. But my question to you was this: out of all the 70 times which it occurs, are you saying every last one of these times that it occurs is only referring to the son of called Dan, or is it? Because it says here that it has to do with the location, right? A name of a city. And for us to suggest that the only person named Dan or Don in the whole entire Tanakh is only one of Yaakov's sons, then we could be mistaken, right?
If you read the chapter, for example, there's multiple Jobs. You had Job, was son of Issachar, Jobab, who was
that's what I'm saying. There's a lot. So for us to suggest that the Dan or Don.
This is talking about the actual tribe of Dan. If you keep reading the verse context, it's referring to the tribe of Dan.
Yeah, let me look at it. Let me look at that. So, this is tripping. So let's look at the context. 300 and pursued them unto Dan. Okay, so that's talking about to the city.
So,
yeah. That's a city.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree with that being a city?
Yeah, it was a city of the tribe of Dan when he lived. Prove this is not talking about it's not talking about the tribe of Dan. Prove that.
It's not for me to try to prove that it's not about Dan. I understand it's talking about a city. He said he pursued them all the way to Dan. And Don right here is listed according to what they had listed here, along with other entries. They're saying that it is a city, right? So if you click on it right here, right, they're going to give you, says over 70 different entries, okay? And it tells you what his root is from 70 different entries, has one variation, and it's from this in particular root, meaning to be judged or contend or to execute. And my question to you is, from what you're saying, there's only one Don, and that is one of Jacob's sons. How do you know that?
I've never seen any other Dan. What other Dan? What tribe was?
So all because you don't see any other Dan
Correct.
means that it never existed, correct?
That's a logical fallacy. That's an argument from silence. I'm not saying that. I'm saying show and prove.
I think it's I mean, respectfully, Rabbi Lewis, I really believe that that's an assumption.
Okay. Well, we can go for it. We can agree to disagree. It could be an assumption.
Yeah, I mean, just honestly, like all because it's not, every detail about the Torah is not listed. Every experience is not listed. Every person that was ever existed on the face of the earth is not listed. Every landmark.
But I think to be crystal clear, I agree with that. But what I'm saying, it's argument from silence. But we know Earth didn't exist. I think you would agree. We can both agree that Earth didn't exist when Abraham lived.
I would agree with that. I won't debate those types of things. I'm not here to debate.
Now there is an in India. In India, there is an So it's certain that he came from India because there's an in India. That in Mesopotamia didn't exist yet. So I don't know if you're privy to that.
No, I wasn't privy to that. In all honesty, I've never.
Yeah, some scholars say he came from India.
Yeah,
anyway.
I understand this. Regardless to where he came from, I think the focus is not where he necessarily came from. I think the focus is on the relationship that he had with the Creator. Would you agree?
Certainly, I believe he built the cobblestone. I believe Abraham built the Kaaba.
Okay. But is it
before
about,
the Kaaba was built?
Yeah, but is it about our belief, or is it about what the substance of what's true? Like, for example, we talk about the covenant. It's not really about us. When I say belief, I'm not talking about do I believe that it existed. What I'm saying is, do I support that fact? How can I call it a fact? How could anyone call that a fact?
Well, because the Quran is clear that Abraham built the cobblestone.
Yes.
Abraham built it.
Yes. Okay. So that's
his son Ishmael helped him build it.
Sure. So he built that. Great. That's wonderful. But what does that have to do with the covenant between him and the Creator about Yitzchak? Does that have anything to do with that?
Certainly. Some scholars assert, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but I'm a rabbi myself as well. Rabbi, not Akiva, not you, brother. Rabbi, I forgot the name of the rabbi. I have the book here. He said that Abraham really did kill Isaac in the original Bibles. I'm not saying I agree with that. It's a wild assertion, but he was saying that.
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting scholarship. I want to show you something since you said it has something to do with it. Let's go to we're going to
wait, what? You have to do what? I'm sorry.
We're going to go to Genesis chapter number 17.
What are you going there for? I'm sorry.
I'm going to go there because I want to show you something about the covenant. Because I asked you
which covenant with Abraham, with Isaac,
covenant with Abraham and Yitzchak, and the covenant the Creator had with the Creator. Certainly. Let me show you what he said what the Creator said to him. Okay. Let's start in verse number 17. Let's start there. Okay. Then Abraham fell on his face. This is after Yah had told him, I'm going to make a covenant with you to Borith. I'm going to change your wife's name. She's going to have, nations coming out, or kings are coming out of her. Then Abraham fell on his face and he laughed and he said, in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? He laughed, just like his wife Sarah did when she heard the information. So this is 90, that is 90 years old.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When Abraham and Sarah went to Egypt, right? Abraham and Sarah, was that his sister?
It's his father's daughter. Let's continue right quick and I'll get onto that.
Okay,
I don't want to lose the train of thought. So Genesis 17:18 says, when Abraham fell on his face, he said, how could this be? So Abraham said, and he laughed, and he said unto Elohim, he said, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And I know that Ishmael is what the progenitor of the Arab people, and also what you would call the founder of what? Islam, right? Correct?
I'm sorry, say that again.
A better question for you would be this. What role does Ishmael play in the Muslim religion? What
Certainly, Master Farad Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. His father was from the Quraysh tribe.
Right.
He looks white. You know Master Farad Muhammad?
Yeah. So
he looks white. He looks white because his mom was white.
Okay.
But his dad was a black Ishmaelite from Quraysh tribe. The Quraysh tribe. Muhammad. I'm sorry.
I don't care what they look like. I don't care about what they look like. All I want to ask is the question is, Ishmael is the progenitor of those who created the Muslim religion. Is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, great. So I want you to, I came here so I can show you that according to the writings in the Hebrew scriptures, we find that Abraham wanted Ishmael to live and be the inheritor, and that he might live before Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel. And he said this, Elohim says, Sarah, thy wife, will bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Yitzchak. And the reason why he told him that he's calling that is because Abraham laughed, and laughter is called Yitzchak. Okay, so that's why he's named that, because Abraham laughed, not Sarai at this time, because she hadn't even heard about this. I will establish my covenant with him, with Yitzchak, as an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes he shall beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Yitzchak, which Sarah will bear unto thee at the set time next year. And he left off talking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. So the covenant that the Creator has is not with the nation of Islam. It's not with the descendants of Ishmael. He doesn't have the covenant of the promise that he made to Yitzchak. He is not in a covenant with them. He is only in a covenant that deals with this land that he made to Abraham. And I know you're going to probably say, well, he's made other covenants with the Egyptians. He calls them his people. Those are different covenants. The covenant I'm talking about right now is the covenant that has to do with the promise of the land and descendants, and him being their Elohim. What do you have to say to that?
There's three things I wrote it down so I don't forget. First thing, the Mishnah says Abraham was not black because they were in the land of the ugly blacks, which was Egypt, right? Remember what that Mishnah quote.
Okay, I'll let you make your point. I'm not going to debate that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it says that they were. Remember Sarah? Remember Abraham? Sarah wanted to marry Sarah.
Yeah, but can I ask you a question about the Mishnah?
I know. So that's my train of thought, right?
Okay.
Do you agree that Pharaoh wanted to marry Sarah?
Yes.
Didn't he give Abraham in exchange for Sarah oxen, ass, sheep, all the stuff he wanted?
Yes.
You do know Sarah was in her 70s or 80s at this time, right?
Correct.
She had to have been pretty damn fine. Excuse my language, because she was an old woman at this time.
She was pretty damn fine. Yes, she was beautiful. Yes.
Because she had to have been in her 70s at this point. Okay, that makes sense to you, I guess. So.
Yes, it does.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, we can discuss that. Third thing, sorry, I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful. I know you believe in Yahweh. Yeah, you keep saying Yahweh is the God of the Hebrews when he's not. If you look up Kos, you know what Kos was, right?
Well, I think what you've just
done, Kos.
No, but I just think what you just done and is you left the topic of which I know that this is what you usually do. And I'm not being rude to you, but this is what you do. If I would bring out a point, right, I say, well, hey, let's deal with this covenant, right? And you said you wanted to make the points about that. So let's stay on topic. Don't attack. I haven't attacked Allah, right, and say that he doesn't exist and what his name means and he's not. I didn't attack any of that. We're trying to establish the fact who my Elohim made covenant with, okay? Whoever Allah made his covenant with is fine. I don't care, all right? What I'm saying is the God that I am referring to, the one that Israel refers to, which is defined by his name Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, he made a covenant with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Now, regardless to what anyone else may say about that, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that which is written in the Hebrew text. If you introduce something else into this conversation, I don't think it would be fair to me, okay, or you, if either one of us is introducing anything outside of what's before us. You're asking me about something that, hey, did you ever hear, or did you ever know this one, or have you read? No, you have to be able to present that right in front of everybody. Now, I will share my screen with you, and you can share that with the audience. But according to what we're talking about, we're reading that which is in the.
Okay, so let's look up a coast real quick. Coast on Wikipedia. Now, this is not Rabbi Lewis's hermeneutic.
Okay, so are you going to share your screen or no?
You can share screen. I'm on my phone. Hopefully, you can share screen for me if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. I don't have a problem with that. So let me.
Okay, sorry. I don't mean to attack your God or anything. I don't.
Well, no, it's okay. He'll defend himself. I will say, let's see here. Let me share, resume my share with you. What we're trying to do. Oh, I'm trying to open it up for you so you can share your screen. Because I'm interested. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not like a lot of.
You have to share screen for me. I can't share screen.
I know. Oh, you can't? Hold on.
Oh, you have to do it for me. I just want to look at one thing.
I just did it. I shared it. So you should have access to it.
No, I don't know how to do that, bro. I'm new. I usually use Zoom. Okay. You can pull it up for me real quick.
Okay, so let's do that. So let me share my screen again, and we're going to go to Google. Is that where you want to go? Wikipedia. Okay, so you want to go to Wikipedia. All right, so we got Wikipedia right now. All right.
Coast, type in coast.
Okay, and so how do you spell that?
QOS.
Let me see.
OS.
QOS. Hold on. Come on, internet. Let's work. QOS. Okay. So familiarize us with Coast. Tell us about it. Let's go there. What
Coast is the god of the Edomites.
Okay. So this is the god of the Edomites. Okay.
You should see it.
Okay. I see QOS. Maybe I didn't type it in right. Let me see if I can do it.
Yeah, deity.
Deity right here. Okay. Yeah. Here it is.
So let's prove that Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh is Coast, the same God.
Well, no, let's don't. You just saying that, but let's continue. Let's read it.
Yeah.
Don't just say something. Let's break it down. We had the courage to go and read and be respectful and say, oh, let's read the text. Let's look at the Hebrew. Let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's not make statements and no one's familiar. That's not fair to the audience. If we're going to mention it, I want you to go ahead and let's read it and explain it. So you said Kos is an Edomite god, which is right here. Okay. And they have it in Hebrew called Quos again, Quos, right? And then they got it in Akkadian, and they got it as in Greek, Kos. And then you got, Kozai was the national god of the Edomites. Okay. That's established. He was the Idumean structural parallel. He's not Yahweh. He's a parallel.
No. Go down to where it says Coast and Yahweh.
Okay, so we're talking about where? We're going to the second paragraph. Where?
No, down it says Coast is Yahweh. Coast and Yahweh at the bottom of the page.
At the bottom of the page, it says Coast is Yahweh. Let's see.
Coast and Yahweh.
Remember, you just read that it's okay. So you said it was a parallel. That's what is first mentioned.
Okay, go down to where it says
Okay, I got it right now. Kos and Yahweh. It says, unlike the chief god of the Ammonites, Milcom and the Moabites, Chemosh, the Tanakh refrains from explicitly naming the Edomites Kos. So the Tanakh doesn't mention this god, right? For whatever reason, it doesn't admit it. It says that the omission might be explained, according to some scholars, by assuming there were close similarities between. There's some similarities between these two. Because remember, when we just first read at the top, it said that this was a parallel, okay? That would make the rejection of the latter difficult, okay? Saying it's kind of difficult because They're
We're
kind
about
of
to get to the headshot. About to get to the
have some
headshot.
similarities. So
Read the next two paragraphs. It's gonna
yeah, I'm
headshot.
about to read it. Multiple poetic refrains in the Hebrew Bible claim that Yahweh embarked in some form from Seir. Okay, so this is what they're saying. Poetic, right? So he embarked in some form from Seir, which is the mountains and region of Edom. Recently, the view has been advanced that Yahweh was originally a Kenite god who was
The Kenites, Edomites.
right. Listen, well, you know this for sure, and you can tell me.
I'm about to get to the point. Keep reading. We'll get to the point right now.
Well, let's get to the point. So the Kenite god, whose cult spread from North Median to the Israelites. Okay?
Here we go. Here we go.
According to this approach, so this is their approach. Quos might possibly have been a title. I like that word, possibly.
Yeah, it says Coast might possibly been a title for Yahweh rather than a name.
Okay, so it's conjecture. Might possibly have been a title for Yahweh rather than a name.
So the scholar's saying Coast was a title for Yahweh.
Okay.
That's why the Bible never mentions Coast, and I'm gonna prove Coast is Yahweh.
We're going there. No, don't worry about that. We're gonna go there. This is what they're saying, and this is great. This is Wikipedia, right? So we know that there was a parallel between Quos, which is the Edomites god, right? The deity of the Kenite god, right? And then we have Yahweh, right? So there's this parallel. I was asking the question, I said, I'm pretty sure that you're familiar that a lot of, it's a great example. I'll save that for later. I'm gonna let us finish here and then we'll see what's going on. I got something perfect for us, okay? So thus we find that Doeg, which is the one who told on David, right? The Edomite has no problem in worshiping Yahweh, right? Let me see, has no problem in worshiping. Am I looking on the right page? No, in Yahweh with quotes. Aside from their common origin in that territory is that the Edomite cult of the latter shared characteristics of the former. So thus we find that Doeg, the Edomite, has no problem in worshiping Yahweh. He is shown to be at home in the Jewish sanctuaries, okay? Circumcision, an essential Jewish rite, which of course we know that it's not Jewish, okay, was practiced in Edom, okay? Additionally, supplication of Yahweh is not common. I don't want to get on the wrong, uncommon, where mentions of coasts are lacking. Pottery sherd from the late 9th to early 8th centuries BCE at the Kuntalith or the Agrud blesses its recipients by Yahweh of Taman, which they're making that connection because Taman is one of the descendants of Esau, which some have been implying a direct association between the two difficult, okay? The identification of the names in the Egyptian list of Shashu clans of Seir creates a continuity problem, okay? Since close names only emerged some 500 years later, so that is what they will call a continuity problem, okay? Because it only emerged 500 years later. Obed of Baladan or Balabam and the Ernest Axel of Kanuaf had claimed that the certain names found on the Ramessid topographic list are theophoric and contain references to Quos. If true, would put the deity's earliest attestation more than 600 years before Yahweh's. Okay, so now we see that this deity, right? Are you saying that Kos has been transformed into Yahweh? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, can I respond?
Absolutely. I want to listen. I want to hear you. I want to hear you on this, Rabbi.
So
Lewis.
before we put the cart for the horse, I'm gonna answer that. I'm not moving the goalposts, right? With the Hyksos, the Israelites, because this is important.
Were the Hyksos Israelites? Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes. Some of them.
So that's not true. What year did the Hyksos leave Egypt? Were they
I
expelled?
don't know the year. You tell us.
Before we digress to that, what reason I brought it up, right? Akmos worshiped Yah, a deity named Yah, right? He was a moon god. Why? Because one of the plagues of Egypt was complete darkness. So Yah was a lone deity from the Hyksos. So the Egyptians got Yah worship from the Hyksos. They worship Yahweh, and they were Edomites. I'm gonna prove that. So let's prove that. So what year did the Hyksos get expelled from Egypt?
I don't know. Enlighten us.
You don't know?
No, I don't know. I'm just being
15
honest. I'm being honest with you. I'm not here to act like I have all the answers. I'm just being.
No, sorry, we'll get to that,
honest.
brother. I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful. You know,
Yeah.
1555 to 1550 BCE, right?
Okay.
The Israelites left in 1446, two different dates. The Hyksos left in 1550. The Israelites left in 1440. So two different. It can't be the Hyksos. It makes no sense. They left at two different times, brother.
Okay.
So let's prove they were in 1440, right? Remember what? Let's get that real quick. Remember about in the Tanakh where it says 480 years after the Exodus they built the temple. You know what that said?
No, go ahead.
You know that verse?
Which one?
Well, let me get it one second. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 1.
Where would you like to go? First Kings?
Yeah, 1 Kings 6 and 1. Because like I said, Akmos was the pharaoh of the Hyksos expulsion. He worshiped a god named Yahweh, ironically, because he got that god from Hyksos. It was a lone deity. Because one of the plagues, you see it.
First Kings chapter what?
6 and 1.
First Kings 6 and 1. All
Yeah.
right. And so it says, and it came to pass in the 480th year, after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Mizraim, in the 4th year of Shlomo's reign, Israel in the month of Sif, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of Yahweh. Okay.
Yeah, so it says 480 years after the Exodus, that's when the temple started getting built. So the temple started getting built in 966 BCE. So if you count 966 and 480,
Wait
you
a
get
minute.
1440.
Stop. You got to slow down for the audience. Everybody's not a historian like you or a scholar. Explain to us, you said it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel had came out of the land of Mizraim, that in the 4th year of Shlomo's reign over Israel, in the 2nd month, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house. So what's your point? You said, let's get the numbers. So it's 480, but
Yeah, plus
Shlomo's in
the temple was Solomon started building the temple. He built it in 966 BCE. So you add 966 to 480, you get 1446, 1440 BCE. So the Israelites could not have been the Hyksos. Because the Hyksos left in 1550, the Israelites left in 1440, 100 years later after.
Wait a minute.
So they could be the Hyksos. Makes no sense.
Okay, so your point is that Israel, they left we hear got there's 480 years after they left that he began to build the temple. And you said
He told him, David has too much blood on his hand. So I can't use your son Solomon. Right. He had too much blood.
You're establishing the fact that the temple was built when?
966 BC.
966 BC. Okay.
Yeah.
Where's your where do you cite that, or where did you get that information from?
Multiple says it's an excellent documentary called Patterns of the Exodus by Tim Mahoney. He goes,
No. We're not gonna listen to outside sources. Please bring us to where that's in the Tanakh or the prophet.
Let's say not. Let's get it a second.
Because you remember, this is the book we're in. You can't be citing stuff that nobody else has access to it, and you have to prove that from the Torah or in the Tanakh. Excuse me, from the Tanakh, which includes the prophets. Okay, so you got to prove the 966. You said 966 is when the children of Israel, right? When the temple began to be built.
Yeah.
Right. You said
Yeah.
it was not, it said it was 408. It was a 480 year after they came out. So how
Yes.
did you get to, so I'll ask you again, what 966 represents what?
966 BC. That's when the temple got built.
The temple
That's
got
Solomon.
built. Okay. So that means that if you were to subtract the 480 from the 966, let me do that. That would tell you that's when they began to build it. Correct? Just tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you add that.
Okay, so we
Because
got,
BC goes backwards, brother. So 10 comes before 1.
no, I
One
know.
goes,
I got you. I got you. So you're telling me 1440 is the year that the temple was finished or began.
no, 1440 is the Exodus, when the Exodus happened.
So so they exited on 1440. They began to build the temple at 966, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. When and how long did it take the temple to be built?
How many years was that? I forgot. Let me look it up. One second. One second.
And what I wanted to do for the audience is for you to verify the time in which you had mentioned of 966.
So they go to 1 Kings chapter 7.
Which one?
1 Kings chapter 7. It took him
Next chapter over, 1 Kings chapter 7. Here we
the
go.
temple took him 7 years to build.
Okay. Chapter 7, verse what? I'm gonna just verify for everybody. So Shlomo was building his own house 13 years and he finished all his house. He built the house of, okay, that one, and then porch, costly stones. Okay. What do you know what verse?
Yeah, I'll give it to you 1 second. One second.
I'm looking at the last verse and I don't see the time there. Maybe it's in verse 8 or chapter 8. Let's look at chapter 8. Yeah, I need to verify because that's the prayer dedication. Because I want to bring you somewhere to kind of go back to what you talked about Yahweh being called quos. Are you still there, Aki? Huh?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I'm looking for the verse. I can't find it. According to the scholars, it took him 7 years. I'm looking for the verse. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Let's just we know it took 7 years to build. What I was asking is can you verify the 966 in the Tanakh?
No.
Okay, you can't. Okay, that's okay. Would it be okay for me to share in the book of Isaiah? This shows us about this different gods that you were talking about how Yahweh might be Quos or Yahweh might be some other god, right? Remember you had brought that out and said that the children of Israel were worshiping these gods, right? There's in chapter number 36 of Isaiah, you're going to find that the Assyrians wanted to invade Yehuda, right? And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a lot. So what I wanted to do is just basically take you to the place where he had said in let's just read verse number 11, and I'll read quickly, that this guy Sennacherib was talking to them, or Rabshakeh, really, his name is Rabshakeh. He was talking to them and he was telling them what the king of Ashur was telling them. And this Alakim and Shebna and Yoah unto Rakashev, they said to him, the Rav Sheka, they said, speak, I pray you into your servants in the Syrian language, right? Which, if you will look at that in verse number 36, and we break that down, it's told him to speak in the like they asked him to speak to us in this language right here. To speak not to us in Ivri. That's the language they asked. Okay. Right here. Speak to your servants. Excuse me. No, that's the wrong one. Aver. What's going on? Oh, speak to us in a Syrian language, right? Speak to us in the language that the Syrian language, and we understand it. Speak not to us in, they call the Jews language. It's not the Jews language, it's actually the Ivrit. Don't talk to us in Ivrit. Only talk to us in the other language. Okay. Don't talk to us in the Ivrit, because if you talk to us in Ivrit, then they're going to actually know the language of the Yehudi. They're going to know what you're saying. He says, no, he goes, I want to talk to you in the language of the Syrians. Okay. So, right. You see this? So that the people on the wall can hear what he's saying in the ears of all the people, right? Then he says, but Rav Shakah said, have my master sent me, my master to thy master to speak to thee, speak these words. Hath he not sent me to the men that sit upon the wall that they might eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? So then Rav Sheka stood and cried with a loud voice in the Yehudim language, and he told them to hear what the king had to say. And one of the things that he was trying to get them to understand is, he said, look, don't listen to what Hezekiah is saying, okay? And I'm scrolling down. And this is where he says this. That's very telling. He says, beware, in verse number 18, beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, Yahweh will deliver us. He asked the question, has any of the gods of the nations delivered this land out of the hand of the king of Syria? And he says, here are the gods of, he says, where are the gods of Hamath and Arphak, right? Or Apak, and where are the gods of the Sepharim, right? Where are they at? And they have delivered Samaria out of our hands. Who are they among all the gods of these lands? He says, have not they been delivered their land out of my hand, that Yahweh should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? But they held their peace and they answered him not a word. And then they went and they told what's his name, and tore his clothes. But they're making reference, maybe it's not the right one. He's making reference to saying that if those gods of those lands, and those lands, which were the gods that were in the northern kingdom, that's what he's talking about. They saying we destroyed the gods of the northern tribe, and they associated those gods with Yahweh, by the way. That's what he's saying. Okay.
Hold on, brother. Didn't you familiar with the Moabite stele?
Huh?
The Moabite stele.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Moabite stele.
What does it say in the Moabite stele?
Well, I can't quote it verbatim, but I know
she most defeated Yahweh, brother.
You said what?
She most defeated Yahweh. She most was the God of Edomite. It says he defeated
that's,
Yahweh.
That's what they believe, because Yahweh allowed them to do that. You understand? I understand that. That was the
That's the question. Why does Ezekiel's prism? Why does Ezekiel's prism have an unk on it?
Wasn't that the Egyptians got? Isn't that what they are?
Yeah, no, Ezekiel was the king of Israel who rededicated the temple to Yahweh.
When?
And there's an unk on his Ezekiel's prism. You look it up. There's an unk on it.
Yeah, but when?
Why does he have an Egyptian symbol on his?
Because they were idol worshippers, Ak.
No, he was not. Ezekiel he's the Reformation period.
No, I know, I understand that, but you also know that at that time, Israel was worshiping the brass serpent that was on the pole,
No, brother, we're talking about the Ankh. Why did he have an Egyptian symbol when he's the one who rededicated the temple to Yahweh? He was the Reformation period. He was a righteous king.
And you're talking about that coin that had, you said it had the Ankh on it?
Yeah, let's get that real quick. Let me pull it up. I think it was Ezekiel's prayer. It was Josiah's prayer. Let me get it real quick. We can look at it right now.
Yeah, let's verify.
Let me mute my mic.
My point I was trying to make, if you read in chapter number 36, anybody, that the king of Assyria was making a connection between all the gods that were in the north, and said that how could Yahweh deliver the Yahweh that they served out there? That's what they were calling Yahweh. Yahweh is being called by multiple names of other gods, and that has been the problem. Israel is an idol worshiping type of people. So when they would go in and defeat them, they're saying, we're going to defeat your gods. Like,
yeah, bad, brother. It's called Ezekiel's seal, not prison. You can look at that on Google Images real quick.
The seal? Yeah,
Ezekiel's seal.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, let's get that so the people can see it. You read Paleo Hebrew. I can't read Paleo Hebrew, so you can interpret this for us. My background's in Arabic, so.
You call it Hezekiah or Hezekiah seal?
Yeah, Hezekiah's seal. Yeah,
right here?
On Google Images. Seal, SEL. Yeah, the third one. Click the third one.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Let's just do this one right here. All right.
This is what the archaeological second seal, right? You see to the right of it. What does that say in Hebrew? I don't know. But if you look at the right, next to the bird with the wings, whatever that is.
Trying to get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it. See if it says that. Oh, that's a video. I don't want that. Where it is. All right.
Yeah, that's called Ezekiel. That's King Ezekiel. You see, it's got it to the right. There's an Ankh on it. What does that say in Hebrew, brother? I don't know. What does that say?
I'm trying to look at the letters.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. I know you're Hebrew teacher, so you probably know what it says.
The first letter right here is a lamed. Let me see. A lamed, and then there have the next one is a ket. And the next one is, I can't figure this one right here. It looks like a tav. It looks like a right here. That might be a tav. The lakath. Okay. And then next one looks like, is it Yahweh? Is it Z? What is that? It's hard to figure out what I know that Yahweh's name is on here, but I'm not sure what the ones at the top I can't see. I can't see all of I know the bottom right there looks like a mem and a lamed. I gotta figure out what that one is. I'm not gonna be able to decipher that right quick, but we'll get back to it.
Anyway, it's got an Ankh on it to the right. See
yeah,
the right?
Yeah, I see. I see that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Why does it say an Ankh on it?
I don't know.
he would only dedicate the temple to Yahweh. Like he would not have had an Ankh on his stuff. I don't get that. Okay.
I don't get it either. That's what I said. But so you would say based off of this, what are you making a conclusion on? Based on this, you would say that Hezekiah is an idol worshiper?
They had to been in idolatry. So when the Moabite stele says Chomosh defeated Yahweh, but that was the northern kingdom. At this point, the southern kingdom were not worshiping Yahweh; they were worshiping El. Their God was El. The northern kingdom was worshiping Yahweh. The southern tribes were worshiping El.
How is that possible? With Shlomo, are you talking what time frame are you talking about?
When the Moabite stele, this was around. I'm going to dive into the presentation because we've been around, but I didn't get to the presentation yet. But let's get you the date on that, right? Hello?
Yeah.
Let's get the date. This is after the kingdom was split, brother. This is
722.
This is 840 BCE.
840 BC. Okay. So when
So
was let's look at the whatchamacallit, when that was built or when that was made. You said
it's
it was
called the Mesha Stele. Let's look it up real quick.
yeah. I know what it is. MESHA
Stele.
Stele, yeah, STELE. Yeah. All right. And I'm gonna go to all. Okay, here you go.
You can go Wikipedia, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's a lot. I'm not gonna read it all because it's a lot to read, but you'll see. They found this in 1868.
Okay. What did they date it back to?
840 BC.
Okay. So they found it like 1,000 some years later. All right. And
It says Chimos defeated Yahweh, the God of Moab defeated Yahweh. But this the kingdom was split.
I see it's written in that Paleo Hebrew script.
Yeah, you can read that. You can put us up on game.
Well, I'm not that familiar with. I would have to go through and transliterate all this. I don't read the Paleo all the time. I read the Masoretic, which is the Aramaic.
Oh, you
text.
specialize in the Masoretic. Okay.
Yeah. So this, I mean, I could go in and tell you what it says, but
Now let's go to the bottom of the page.
I have to transliterate it. Okay. So this is what it does say.
It says it describes. See what it says it describes?
Yeah. Okay. So here it is. It says that how Moab oppressed the Omri, which was the king of Israel, and his son as a result of the anger of the god of Chemosh. Okay. Which Yahweh did allow that to happen. Omri's victories over Omri's son, not named, the men of God on Atharoth, which we know, and Nebo and Yahaz. The building projects, restoring fortifications of the strong places, the building palace and the reservoirs and water, his wars against. Okay, so let's get to the point where he talked about how he did the Israelite king. So he says, now as for Omri, the king of Israel, he oppressed Moab for many years because Chemosh was angry with his land, and his son succeeded him. Okay, so Omri, the king of Israel, he oppressed Moab for many days. And it says because Chemosh was angry with his land. So they're saying that the only reason when this happened is because Chemosh, not Yahweh, Chemosh. That's what Moab is saying. And his son succeeded him. He was also said, I will oppress Moab. And it was during my days that he said this. Okay. So then it says no authoritative edition of the scripture remains. Okay, whatever. And then, okay. Then he goes on and starts talking about, okay. Let's read that part. Omri was the king of Israel and oppressed Moab during many days. And Chemosh was very angry with his aggressions. His son succeeded him, and he also said, I will oppress Moab in my days. He said, let us go, and I will see my desire upon him and his house. And Israel said, I will destroy it forever. Now Omri took the land of which is the king of Israel, took the land of Madeba and occupied it in his days and in the days of his son 40 years. And Chemosh had mercy. Where are we at? Why is it jumping? Had mercy on it in my time. I built Baal Ma'an and made therein the ditch, and I built the Kerathayim, and the men of God dwelled in the country of Ataroth from ancient times, and the king of Israel fortified Ataroth. I assaulted the wall and captured it and killed the warriors of the city for the well-pleasing of.
We'll have to read the whole thing, because time said.
Okay, so this is the son who's talking about what happened, right?
But remember, David subdued the Moabites and made them slaves.
Yeah, but okay, well that's fine, but it talks about how Israel was oppressing them, right?
Yeah, of course, David's made them slaves. We'll get that real quick.
Yeah, I know where you're going. You're going to probably in 18 of First Chronicles, or I think either 18 or something. Yeah, I think it is 18. First Chronicles, chapter number 18.
And it shows you that Ruth was not a real Moabite.
Yeah. David oppressed them. Yeah, but that fulfills what was spoken in Numbers, right? Chapter number 20.
We'll go to 2 Samuel 8:2 real quick. Then I want to dive into the presentation because
2 Samuel?
Yeah, 8:2.
Okay. 2 Samuel 8:2. Let me. Oh, I'm looking at my text. Let me just do it right here. All right.
So they say Ruth was a Moabite, which is totally this is bogus. He was an Israelite living in Moab.
All right. That's interesting. So you said go to 2 Samuel?
Yeah, 8:2.
Okay. 2 Samuel 8:2.
Yeah.
All right.
They want to dive into the presentation.
All right. So there it is.
In verse 2.
Yeah. He smote the Moab and measured a line. Measured them with a line and casting them down to the ground. And even with 2 lines, he measured up. Even with 2 lines, he measured he to put to death, and with 1 full line he kept alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts. Now, do you know what this is a fulfillment of prophecy? Do you know what prophecy?
Yeah, I know you're going to start and come out of Jacob that one.
Yeah,
Moab.
This is what he's going to do.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what the king of Moab was with by Balaam. What's his name? Balaam or Balaam? Balaam had said this to the king of Moab and told him exactly what was going to happen to his people in the days to come. And he's speaking about this in particular king, David, who's going to do this, and David do that. So that was a fulfillment of what Balaam had said. Okay, where else do you want to go?
I want to digress to the presentation because been an hour. I didn't get a chance to go into it.
Okay, so how long is the presentation, and what's the presentation about?
Oh no, it's not a presentation. It's just some bullet points I want to talk about where the Israelites are today. I know it's already been an hour.
All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Yes, certainly. So Revelation chapter 6.
What is it?
Revelation chapter 6.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you say Revelation chapter 6?
Yeah.
You're going to have to authenticate that book. You got to authenticate. And what do I mean by that? If I could show you one error in the book of Revelation, would you close it and never read it again? Or would you?
No, because I can show you multiple errors in the old. I've written over 30 books on it.
Okay, so let's do this then. I want you to authenticate the book of Revelation. Tell us who the author is and tell us when it was written. And then I'll let the audience make a decision for themselves. I'm not going to be like that. I want people to hear about it. So I want you to authenticate, though. I want you to tell us when was it written and who wrote it and when was it canonized? When was it put into the text? So we can authenticate it, because if you can't authenticate, then there's no reason for anybody to listen to it. It's nothing but what you call rhetoric. So let's just do this. Book of Revelation. So I don't know, you don't have all the answers, and I want to know when was it canonized, okay?
I know the answer to that, so.
Tell me what it is.
Council of Nicaea.
Council of Nicaea?
Council of Laodicea.
Okay.
Laodicea.
Okay, Laodicea. Okay. Book of Revelation canonical. Is it canonical? All right. What books were not canonized? Okay. I don't want that. When was the book? Okay, here you go. When was it canonized? So Revelation, the book of the New Testament, was squeezed into the canon in the 4th century, right? It was squeezed in, correct? In the
it was added in the Council of Laodicea. It was
okay. So that was in the 4th century, correct? So when was that? In the
Laodicea was around 367.
Something. Okay. So when did the Apostle John, that you would claim is the author of that book, when he claims that he saw some things, when did he write it? Since it was put in the 400s, in the 4th century, in the 300s. When did John die?
So I'm trying to find my notes 1 second.
Because that's important, and I know you know why I'm asking this. Because if it was like in the late fourth century, was literally 200 to 300 years later. That's a
Yeah.
long damn time.
Brother, that's the pot on the kettle black. For example, Rebecca.
Is it old? When somebody wrote a story, okay, and they wrote the story and they put it out and they said this apostle wrote it, okay, and he was at the time of Yeshua, and Yeshua was at the age of 80, 33, I think, or 80, 30, when he was 33 years old, somewhere around that time. And his disciples are right around a little bit about his age, if you would think. They're all a whole bunch of group of people walking together. You would say that any of his disciples did not live past AD 100. They didn't live, they didn't do, and within, they did not live past that time. So why would you read a book, okay, that they all of a sudden squeezed in 365 or 370, which is literally 270 years later? Why? Would you read and accept a book that's written 270 years later without, and guess what? Is it written in Hebrew? Was it authorized by the creator, or was it just some summarization or commentary of a man who had some visions that he decided to put in there that they squeezed in there? When was it added?
Well,
It is. The book of Revelation was written sometime around 96 CE, which is exactly what I said. The author was probably a Christian from Ephesus called John the Elder. According to this book, or the book, this John was on the island of Patmos, not far from the coast of Asia Minor, because of the word of God and the testimony of JC.
Well, can I respond?
Yeah, absolutely.
Revelation is originally called the Mysteries of Osiris and Isis. That was the original name of it. That's why they rejected it. Now who wrote it? Osiris and Isis were gods of Egypt.
Who wrote it?
1 second. Let me get it for you. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes.
Boy, I tell you, it's great. While you're doing that, I want the audience to know that the book of Revelation in the Western Church comes quite early. Like I said, 150 AD. Justin, the martyr, names the book and is author. He named it. In AD 170, the Murmuratorian canon says that the apocalypse of John was universally recognized in Rome at that in particular time. Tertullian and Marcion, you guys know about Marcion. You already know that he hated the creator, and then all this other stuff. But we understand that this book was named and authored by Justin the martyr. And if you're not familiar with Justin the martyr, maybe I can help familiarize you with the person who named and authored the book, okay? I got it here. Let's see. Greek. Here it is. I always keep one on file. There's Justin right there for you. I keep a file on these people, so when I have to talk about them, you can get an understanding. First of all, and to verify and to validate and authenticate what I said, Justin the martyr is a Greek. He's also known as Justin the philosopher. He was an early Christian apologist and philosopher. That's who wrote and authored the book of Revelation. The philosopher. What does philosopher mean? What is a philosophy? I talked about it earlier today in my teaching. It's an ism. It's a system. And according to philosophy, by definition, it means the love of wisdom. A philosopher, the thoughts that come out of their damn mind. This is not a direct revelation from the Elohim of Yisrael. This is from a philosopher. Because he's a Christian apologist. That's what he is. So let's look at what he says about the apocalypse, just so to put everybody where it's at so you can get it. Justin does not quote from the book of Revelation directly, yet he clearly refers to a naming John. He's naming John as its author.
Let me respond to that.
Go ahead, respond.
Let's play your game. Let's stay in the Old Testament. So if I can show you 20 contradictions in your book, when you drop the book.
It's not my book, first of all. And secondly, you and I both know, we both know that the biblical Hebrew has been translated and mistranslated into the Masoretic text. It's not the original. So I get that. Okay. But what I do know for 100% certainty, that it was written thousands of years before the book of Revelation.
All right, so let's play a game. Let's play that game.
Yeah, let's play that game. So I think I just want to let you know that if you're going to talk about the book of Revelation, you're going to try to compare the Greek philosophers.
Let's take the New Testament off the table. Let's digress from that. Let's digress. Let me ask you some questions.
No, let's not digress, because digressing would be great. Let's stick with the book of Revelation for a second. Let's just stay here just a little bit longer. I'm going to ask you one more time in front of the whole entire world.
Yeah.
Is that book valid?
Yes, the book is spot on. It gives you, it explains World War I, II, and III in detail.
Oh, really?
It explains all the history of the world in great detail.
So it gives you detail like who it was and Hitler and everything, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never seen that.
That's what I'm going to show tonight.
No, it's not valid.
Okay, so let's take it off the test.
Wait a minute. Here's something else that we can validate. Let's validate this. Did any word or anyone in the book of Revelation ever use "Thus saith Yahweh" or "The word of Yahweh came to me"? How was it inspired? Who inspired that book?
Certainly. So I explained that before. It was taboo to say the Most High's name at that point. They stopped calling your name.
Who said that? Who gave you that idea?
That's in the Jewish Encyclopedia.
So is it? Yeah, but that's Jewish. Is that the case today? Is it still taboo to say his name? According to them, we shouldn't.
They say Adonai. They say Hashem.
Yeah, I don't care what they say. I'm telling you right now that what Yah had wrote in the book of Exodus, chapter number 3, verse number 14, 15, that my name is Yahweh, and that will be my name known to the children of Israel for eternity. Forever. So it might be taboo for some Ashkenazi, but it's not taboo for me, and it ain't taboo for his people.
Okay, so let's digress.
If it was taboo, then why is Yah's name mentioned over 6,800?
Okay, so you don't want to engage. You don't want to engage Revelations. You can do something else.
No, we don't. Listen, the reason why I don't want to engage Aki is because it's not authentic. It's not.
Okay.
It hasn't been validated. And
let me ask you some questions.
Authenticate it, and we'll talk about it if you can authenticate it.
Okay. I say I can't authenticate it. That's fine. We can go for it.
That's all I want everybody to know, that you cannot authenticate that book because it's
I can, but based on the fact that it's got so much prophecy in it that is coming to pass.
No, guess what? Guess what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about how much prophecy, because guess what? The book of Devarim, chapter 13 says, somebody can tell you that something's going to happen and it comes to pass through a dream and a vision. If it never came out of Yahweh's mouth, he says, don't believe anything. He said, I don't even care if it did come to pass. Prophecy is not enough evidence to prove that that is valid from Yah, period. Period. We don't need prophecy in order to believe the Creator's words. The Torah is the validation. That's the authentication. Okay.
So let me ask you like 10 questions before we go. Since we can't deal with Revelations, we'll take out the table.
You can't deal with it because you, like you said, we cannot authenticate.
So let's digress. I digress from what I was going to say.
Okay, I yield while you digress. Go ahead.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Who was Heman's father?
Heman? You talking about that Jewish guy? Heman?
Heman in the Book of Kings.
I don't recollect. Honestly, I don't recollect. I don't have that. Who is it?
Heman's father?
Yeah. Who is it?
He's got 3 different fathers in the Tanakh. Okay, First King says his father was Mahol. Chronicle says his father was Zerah. And then Chronicles 6 says his father was Joel. Which one was it? Contradiction, right?
No. What? No, Aki, let's slow down a little bit. So what you're saying is, I just want to validate what you're saying. You're saying if one person's name is mentioned in some different areas, if that one name is mentioned 3 different times, that's a contradiction because it says.
Well, no, let me not do that. Let me not play the contradiction game.
No.
I can say in the Old Testament.
Contradiction game. What I'm going to tell you is how many people are named Azariah. There's like 3 or 4 people named Azariah. How many people in the Torah or the Tanakh is mentioned Yeshua? There's like 3 or 4 different Yeshuas. There's just 3 or 4 different. There's 3 or 4 Yehoshuas. The Yehoshua that was in the book of Judges is the same Is that the same Yehoshua that's in the book of Zechariah? Is that a contradiction? No. These people named themselves Avi Yatar, one of the priests. He had named his son in different generations. All because somebody's name is repeated doesn't mean it's a contradiction when it's talking about somebody else. They have multiple people with the same name. Period. That's not a valid point. You can't use that.
So I digress. I mean, just if
Sorry,
I could,
you digress. I yield. I yield to you. Go ahead.
yes, let's just go back to the Old Testament.
Okay.
Genesis 49, right?
Go ahead. I know what that is. It's talking about when Yaakov told his sons what's going to be for them in the last days. Yes.
Yes. So let's talk about this food that the Native American, Hispanic, and African American, the 12 tribes of Israel.
No, I disagree with that completely. I don't even agree with that chart. And that's my opinion. You could tell us something that you know. That
I use the 12 tribes. I wrote a book on the 12 tribes chart. I think Shabbat's over now. So, but anyway, so I will start with the tribe of Judah because I use the New Testament for that. So tribe of Benjamin, right? It says Genesis 49:27. Pull it up real quick.
Okay.
We'll go through this fast and then we'll close out. I got another hour, so.
Okay, so let me do this. You said it was Genesis 49, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go through some of the tribes.
Okay, so when you go through the tribes, understand it. If you say something, I'm going to take us to somewhere else that has probably the same thing you're saying. So we'll authenticate. So Genesis 49 is Yaakov telling his sons what's going to happen to them in the last days. This is prophecy concerning his sons. What do you want to talk about?
Verse 27. We're gonna look at some of these tribes.
Yeah, sure, no worries. 49:27 says this: Benjamin shall, raven as a wolf, and in the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. Okay.
Right. This is a prophecy. He's speaking in code, right? This is Benjamin tribe of Benjamin, right? Benjamin shall raven. I'm sorry.
In the last days, yeah.
Yeah. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning shall devour the prey, and at the night shall divide the spoil, right? So the maroons, the word maroon in Latin means wolf. That's why it says Benjamin should be raven as a wolf. The word maroon, the maroons were slaves in the West Indies and Jamaica. So when it says Benjamin shall raven as a wolf, the word maroons were West Indian slaves in Jamaica. The word maroon means wolf in Latin.
Okay, so let's go there and let's look at the Hebrew. And you said that are you saying that the Hebrew says that, or are you saying that that's an English understanding? What are you saying?
No, I said the Genesis 1 says Benjamin should be raven as a wolf. All right. The word for the maroons, which were slaves in Jamaica, the word maroon is Latin for wolf.
Well, here it's not what you just said. Here is a Zayav. So, and you're saying because someone calls them another name of maroon is a wolf, then that's the tribe of Judah. Is that what you're saying?
No, the tribe of Benjamin. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf.
Okay.
Right. The maroons were slaves in the West Indies and Jamaica. The word maroon is a Latin word, not Hebrew, for wolf.
Okay.
He's talking about the maroons because he knew that the tribe of Benjamin will be living on the West Indies islands of Jamaica.
How do you know that?
So it says right here, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. The word maroon is a Latin word that means wolf.
No, you see. Okay, let me ask another question. What other words are called or for wolf besides the Latin? We got right here. We got another word here, a za'av, and then so Latin has a word called a maroon. And then is anybody else with another name that is called a wolf that you and I can apply that? So everything that's probably named a wolf, are you saying that Benjamin is attached to that? Because they call them wolves? Why would they call them a wolf? That's the question.
No, Jacob told his sons, it's going to happen between the last days. Benjamin shall be raven as a wolf. The word
Okay.
the Maroons were slaves in the West Indies and Jamaica. The word maroon is a play on words. The word maroon is a Latin word that means wolf.
Okay. Well, let's see what this verb here is, because that's what he said they're going to do. Right. So the word right there is taraf. So he's going to do something. He's going to tear, and he's going to rend and tear into pieces. So are you saying that
Yeah,
this is
it says
gonna
yes.
happen?
That I can explain.
Okay, go ahead.
It says the word maroon is Latin meaning wolf, primarily throughout the West Indies and Jamaica. They were runaway slaves that fled to the mountains and swamps of the islands. The white man could not subdue these men because they knew the land very well and could survive when they weren't living off the land. So when it says that they were very resilient. Let's keep going though. So like I said, the Maroons were the Benjaminites. So it says they should be raven as a wolf. The word maroon literally means wolf in Latin.
Mhm.
So the Maroons of Jamaica are the tribe of Benjamin, right?
Okay.
Simeon and Levi, Genesis 49:1.
Okay. 49-1. I'm gonna let you make your
Yeah.
points, and then we're gonna go to where we're gonna go after this. Okay, go ahead. 49-1. All right.
Yeah.
Here's 49-1. Go ahead.
Genesis 49:5. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Shimon and Levi. Uh-huh.
Verse 5.
They're going to be instruments of cruelty in their habitations. And he says, my soul,
Now I'll go over verse. So it says this should be brethren.
a little further down.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. You see
He
that?
told,
Was that verse 5?
yeah, he says, well, 6 and 7, everything that has to do with Lewi and Shimon was 5, 6, and 7. So you can
Okay,
wear,
it says Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty in their habitation, right?
uh-huh.
So they were all brothers. Why did he say Simeon and Levi are brethren, right? Well, that's because Jacob knew in the last days they'd be living on the island of Espanola. Now, the tribe of Simeon is the Dominicans. Levites are the Haitians, modern day Haitian people. So how do we know? Because he told them that they are brethren, because he knew they would be living on the same island. The island of Hispaniola is Dominican Republic and Haiti. It's the same island. So when he said that Simeon and Levi are brethren, he's talking about them living on the island of Hispaniola together. And when it says instruments of cruelty in their habitation, he's talking about voodoo and Santa Maria, which is also known as Bulgaria. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So when he says similar our brethren, because they know they was living on the island of Hispaniola together, the Simeonites are the Dominicans, the Levites are the Haitians, and they're brethren because they live on the same island. And instance of cruelty in their habitations, meaning they'll be practicing witchcraft, right? Let's keep going.
Okay.
Genesis
Right.
49:14.
Okay, so we'll do that last one. So you're making some points about how these people are the scattered and where they are and so forth. Go ahead.
Certainly. Genesis 49:14 through 15.
Issachar is as strong as an ass. He's a strong ass and he's crouching down between two burdens. So those are the Mexicans, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna prove that now. Verse 15.
15, and he saw the rest was good. He saw that rest was good in the land that it was pleasant and bowed his shoulder to bear and became a servant unto tribute. Okay.
Right. So it says one of the most famous signs of Mexico is an ass. Couch between two burdens. If you ever looked at the sign of Mexico, it's an ass couched down between two burdens, literally, right? Can you hear me?
Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
most famous
So,
sign of Mexico. It's an ass between birds, couch between two burdens, right?
yes.
Let's keep going. It says, and he saw the rest of his good, right?
Yep.
The Mexicans are known for something called a siesta, which means rest. So it says again, and he saw the rest was good. The Mexicans are known for something called the siesta, right? Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Which means rest, or and it says, and the land was pleasant, right? Because Mexico is one of the world's favorite vacation spots because of its beautiful weather and wonderful sights, right? So when it
Okay.
says, and he saw the rest was good, it's talking about the siesta in Mexico, which is no, the word siesta means rest, right?
Mhm.
And the land was pleasant. It represents Mexico is a very pleasant place to be. It was one of the world's favorite vacation spots. You know what I'm saying?
Is that with the Mexican cartels involved or no?
No, it says, and the land was pleasant. Mexico is one of the world's favorite vacation spots because it's beautiful weather and wonderful sights, right?
They're Israel.
Yeah, the tribe Issachar is the tribe is the Mexican.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go down to Deuteronomy 33:18.
49, 33.
No, no, my bad. Hold on. No, hold on. Let me go down. Skip that. Hold on. 1 second. Hold on. Go to sorry about that. You go up a little bit. Hello?
Yep.
Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna look at the tribe of Zebulun real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna look at the tribe of Zebulun. Sorry for the background noise. So let's look at the tribe of Zebulun.
Okay. So that's going to be here. That's going to be right here and right here. Zebulun is going to be right there in verse 49:13. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for the haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Okay.
Let's see what happens here. Sorry for the dead air, guys, over there. Okay, let's go down. Yeah, so like I said, it says, read that again, brother.
Yeah, I'm here.
If you read that again.
Oh, Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his borders shall be unto Zidon.
Zebulun is the modern day Mayans. Hold on, spell Zebulun real quick.
What's that?
Can you spell Zebulun?
Or do you want the Hebraic?
No, the regular trans. Oh, let me see. Zebulun.
Zebulun. Zebulun.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Zebulun. Okay.
So join 33, and this is the blessed, where Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death, right?
Then you must be talking about 33 and
18. And of Zebulun, he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, in Issachar, in thy tents. Zebulun is the Mayans. Issachar is the Aztecs, right? Okay. So let's go down. Let's go look at the tribe of Joseph.
Okay, you know what? Let's stop right there where you said about Zebulun and Issachar that you mentioned in chapter number 32 or 33 of the book of Deuteronomy. I think it would only be fair to everyone if they knew exactly what you're talking about. So there's two sets of blessings. The first one is in Genesis chapter number 49 by the father Yaakov, Israel, before he deceases and passes on, lift his feet up, and he dies. So he calls his sons to tell him what everything is going to be. Here's a blessing in chapter number 33 of the book of Devarim from Moshe. And so he's now telling Benjamin what their future is going to be, right? So he says, Benjamin, he said, the beloved of Yahweh shall dwell in safety by him, right? Oh, that's Benjamin. I didn't want that one. I think we're talking about Zebulun, 18. Okay, here it is. 18, Zebulun. He said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, in Issachar, in thy tents. Okay, they shall call the people unto the mountain. Okay, there they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, and they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of the treasures hid in the sand. Okay, so what was your point? Because I know you said that that Issachar is the Mexicans and Zebulun is who, the Aztecs, you said?
It was under the Mayans, the Issacharites, the Aztec.
Okay, so they're the Mayans and the other ones are the Aztecs. Okay, so what you're really saying then is you're saying that the children of Israel are here or have been in the United States of America, right?
Yeah, let's go to Isaiah chapter 18.
Yeah, I mean, are you gonna answer the question? Yes, is that what you're saying? Correct.
Yeah,
All right.
Isaiah 18.
So if they, before we go there, you're saying that Zevulun and Issachar and their location is in the United States of America. And you know, when Yah is telling them that they're all going to be together, then every last one of these sons that you're making mention of would all be in the same land, correct?
Yeah, I'm about to prove that.
Okay, so let's go there. Where do you want to Isaiah 18?
Yeah.
All right, so go to Isaiah 18, and he's going to prove to us that all the sons of Israel are in the same land. And of course, the Aztecs and the Mayans are down in South America. So everyone else must be up in North America. Go ahead. Where you want to go? 18 and what? That's you. Who 18?
Verse so it says Ethiopia. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, verse 1 through 2. I'm sorry.
Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have
Yeah,
swallowed.
so it says river beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. So people read that and say, look, it's talking about Ethiopia, but it's not. The Atlantic Ocean, where the slave trade happened, the transatlantic slave trade happened, it's called the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean was originally called the Ethiopian Ocean. Yeah. So the original name of the hello?
Yeah, so we're not talking about the rivers of Ethiopia according to the scroll, then you're talking about the ocean of Ethiopia.
Yeah, the ocean of Ethiopia.
Okay, so
or the rivers of Ethiopia, excuse me, the rivers of Ethiopia. It's not talking about the Ethiopia in Africa. The Atlantic Ocean was originally known as the Ethiopian River. It was known as Ethiopia. Somebody changed it to Atlantic Ocean. Originally, it was known as the Ethiopian River, Ethiopian Ocean. So, the Atlantic Ocean, where the slave trade happened, was originally known as the Ethiopian Ocean. Was changed to the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay. And you have what evidence that you could give to someone, or where would you direct a person who wanted to find more information about that?
Yeah, you can find this in my work. I have the maps in my book.
Oh, okay. Where'd you get the maps from?
I'll give you the maps. Hold on. I have my other tab open.
All right, so you're not wanting to get that information out. That's okay, because they didn't buy your book. All right, so what you're saying then is that the Ethiopian River is really the Ethiopian Ocean that they renamed to the Atlantic Ocean, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, they changed it to the name from the Ethiopian Ocean to the Atlantic.
Okay, so but if it is, but so we're not talking about a river then. That's what you're saying. You're saying it's actually a sea. It's actually a body of water that's different. If it's a sea, then it's a yam. If it's a river, it's called a nahar in Hebrew. So let's see if he's talking about a nahar or if he's talking about a sea, according to what's written in the text. So according to what is written in the text here, it says the land of Zalzal and the Banafim, Asher, the Ba'avort across the, I was correct. It is a nahar. It's a river. If it was a sea, it would be called a yam, but it's not a yam. It's a nahar. A nahar is a river, and that has been throughout the whole entire Torah and the Tanakh that nahar is always a river. So when it talks about crossing the rivers of Ethiopia, of Cush, it's literally talking about a river. But now you said that this river is not really a river. You're saying that it's the sea, which they now call the Atlantic Sea, a body of water that is far greater in mass and width and size and depth than a river. So is it possible that you have made probably a mistake? Or are you trying to change a river into Atlantic Ocean? Which one is it? Don't get
Certainly,
quiet.
somebody respond to that.
Yeah, we have to. In all fairness, we're just talking. I don't mean that I don't like you. It means
No,
that
that's fine.
I'm telling you that a nahar is a nahar and a yam is a yam. And if you want me to prove that a sea is a yam, I can show you that too. Because here it says a yam, a nahar, which is a river. And let's verify if I'm correct. I said it was a river, but let's see what it says. And how many times is it mentioned? Oh, look, a stream and a river. It's not a sea, it's a nahar. And how many times is it mentioned? How many times did they mention this? It occurs 119 times in 108 verses. Okay. So it is never misrepresented as a sea. If that's the case, the garden, the first time it's ever mentioned, that's a river. There's another river, the second river that was coming out of Eden is a Gihon and the Hiddekel, and then the Euphrates, which it's not its real name. Euphrates is not his name. It's called a Parath. So rivers have always been 119 times. They're rivers. So how could you call a river a sea? That's my question to you. Now I'm just going off what the text says. You show me where a river is a sea, and I'll buy your book. Got to authenticate, man. If you're going to say these things and you're going to come on my show, you got to be able to say what you're going to say. You got to prove it.
It's something.
Show us where a sea is a river. That's what I want to see. There's a Jordan River, a Yarden River. There's the Great Sea, the Sea of Suf. That's a Yam. You got to give me more.
Yeah. I think it looks in the Septuagint. I think it's a different translation. But
why are you going to the Greek? Why are you going to the Greek writings instead of going directly? Do you want me to go to the you want to go to the Septuagint? We can. I don't have a problem with that. I can pull that up.
No, I wanted to do that.
Because I will show you 1426. Let's verify why he's looking for that. Let's verify what I said. In the book of Exodus, chapter number 14, and it's verse number 26. It says something about the sea. The Bible said unto Moshe, stretch out thy hand over the sea, and the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, and upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. Let's see if that word is a nahar, and let's see if it was what I said, which is a yam. Moshe, Natah, the Yado, all the Hayam. Oh, there it is. It's a yam. And what's a yam? A yam is a sea. Also represents the west from where the sun goes down. Okay. It's a sea, Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, Dead Sea, Sea of Galilee, the mighty sea. Oh, they even call it the mighty river now. That's interesting. They translate it as that. Okay. The sea, seaward. Okay. Yam, to roar, noisy. It's big, a big body of water, Mediterranean. Okay. All right. So I'm kind of lost in the sauce. I don't know why are you calling the Ethiopian River the Atlantic Ocean. That's because you got a map from somewhere. How's that translating? How's that working? no one's ever called the sea a river. Come on. How can you talk to us, Rabbi? Tell us how you came up with the Atlantic Ocean from the Ethiopian River in Isaiah chapter number 18.
Sorry. So let me respond to that. I have the maps. It says Ethiopia, according to the biblical narrative, Jewish captives will come from the set beyond the rivers of Ethiopia in Zephaniah, right? It says beyond the rivers of Ethiopia in Zephaniah. We know that the land of Israel lies to the northeast of Ethiopia, and the only sea to the near west of it is the Atlantic Ocean. Let's read that again. Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia by sea. We know that the land of Israel lies to the northeast of Ethiopia, and the only sea, ocean used interchangeably to the near west of it is the Atlantic Ocean. So only ocean is the sea near west of it is the Atlantic Ocean. Israel is to the northeast, but the only thing that's west is the Atlantic Ocean. So by process of elimination, you have to in the Atlantic Ocean because, like I said, Israel is northeast of Ethiopia. We're talking about near west.
Okay.
It's
So
only the Atlantic Ocean.
let's do this. You said it's interchangeable, right? So let's put it here. Ethiopian River. And let's see. Let's see what comes up. Okay. And let's pull up the, it says a list of rivers in Ethiopia. Okay. Because we've been using Wikipedia, so let's continue. All right. So there's a list of streams and rivers. Okay. They're never talked about as a body of water greater than a like a sea. It's not that mass, the amount of water. Here's a list of the waters that are flowing into the Mediterranean. Okay, from I guess the Nile in Egypt, Sudan, all these different types of rivers here. And the Blue Nile, right? They got different names, you know, called the Ave River. You got some lakes. They got another river in Sudan. Oh, it's flowing into the ocean, because that's how it all works. Rivers literally flow into a greater body of water. Okay, so I don't see anything here about it being a ocean or a sea. I only see it flowing into a sea. Do you think maybe you've made a mistake?
No, I just answered that. It says they will come from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia in Zephaniah. I think it's Zephaniah. We can look at Zephaniah.
Okay.
The land of Israel is northeast of Ethiopia.
Well,
the only sea to the near west of it is the Atlantic Ocean.
And where's this map at that we can look at that?
I said it says beyond the rivers of Ethiopia by sea.
You said look at what again? You said Zephaniah?
Let me get it.
Here's Zephaniah. I'm there. 3 chapters. Which chapter? Chapter 3?
Let me get it. Pull it up. Zephaniah. What verse is that? Zephaniah 3 and 10.
Okay, I was close. So 3, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. There you go. Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed shall bring mine offering. Okay, so beyond the rivers, not rivers, because that'd be in Nahalroth. So let's see if it's in Nahalroth. Offering shall bring.
That's verse 10, I think.
Kaputs disperse, my daughter of Tar.
Verse 10.
I know. I'm in verse 10. I'm in verse 10 right now.
Oh.
And here it is. The way that it's conjugated is right here, and I'll highlight it for everybody to see. It's the Nahadre. And Nahadre is in a construct of what they call a semikuth in the grammar of Hebrew. Anytime you put 2 nouns next to each other and it's talking about plurality, what you're going to have is you're going to have these 2 dots and a yod to let you know that it's talking about more than one river. One river by itself is called a Nahar. The Nahare means these are the rivers of. Okay. So it's more than one river. It's rivers. Okay. in this text. So he's not talking about one river, it's rivers. Okay. The Nahareh. And if you don't believe what I'm telling you, okay, because you said, well, that's you know the language, you know the grammar. So what are you talking about? How are you doing this? Let's parse it a little bit. Okay, let's parse it. Okay. I'm parsing it. And if you can notice, I don't know if you can see my screen right quick, but I put this little thing on it. It tells you it's a root from Nahar, which is 5104 Hebrew preposition. The preposition is the letter Lamed. That's the first letter, which is your preposition. And then after that, it tells you that it's a common noun, which is Nahar. And look what it says. It says a masculine plural, so it means more than one. Okay. And then also my little favorite part that it just told you that you need to be aware of is the masculine plural, but it's in a construct. It's in a construct state. And what it means by being a construct state is means that when there's two Hebrew nouns that are side by side, it would be, which what they call a semikuth, meaning the blank of. So here it is, the rivers of Ethiopia. Okay. So not one river, many rivers. So Ethiopia has more than one river. And all those rivers put together is not talking about the Atlantic Ocean. So I just proved my point again, okay, that if you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you don't understand what's going on. If you do know the language, you'll understand that Nahar is one and Nahareh right here is more than one. It's in a construct state. And
I just debunked that. Play the.
That's multiple. Look, this NPC right here is a multiple masculine plural in.
Brother, hold on, brother. It's a fact. It's a fact, brother. So because you, the Atlantic Ocean was originally called the Ethiopian Ocean. We need to look that up.
Okay, let's look it up.
The Atlantic Ocean was originally called the Ethiopian Ocean. That is a fact.
Okay.
Hold on, before you read that.
Okay. No, if it is a fact, say it is a fact. Okay. That doesn't support this because this is talking about rivers.
Right. I already gave you so that this is the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, repeat it.
This
beyond those Ethiopia, right?
How can you take, wait a minute, Aki, how can you take beyond the rivers, plural, not oceans, rivers. So you're going to tell the audience right now, you're going to change rivers into ocean, all because the Atlantic Ocean used to be called the Ethiopian Ocean?
No, it's not. That wasn't the focal point. You moving the goalpost. It says they will come from beyond those Ethiopia, right?
Right.
The land of Israel is northeast of Ethiopia. Northeast. Remember that. Israel lies northeast of Ethiopia. The only sea near west of it is the Atlantic Ocean. Let's repeat that. The land of Israel is northeast of ancient Ethiopia. The only near west sea of it is the Atlantic Ocean. That's near west. Okay. You play the game of elimination to shoot or fit just to quit. The only sea west of it is the Atlantic Ocean itself. So to the west of Israel.
Let's go here, since you want to authenticate the original, right? Because that's what we're talking about. Name of the Atlantic Ocean. All right, so again, favorite place, they're going to tell us that it's not called the Sea of Ethiopia. What it's going to tell us is that it's called Atlantis, right? That's the original name of it. Where you go? Tophany. Oh, here it is.
There you go. Read that.
Okay, so it's called the Ethiopian. Okay, Ethiopian derived from the ancient Ethiopia. Okay, so it's derived from the ancient Ethiopia, was applied to the southern Atlantic as late as the mid 19th century during the age of discovery. So the Atlantic was also known to English cartographers as the Western or the Great Western Ocean. Okay.
There you go. It was known as the term Ethiopian Ocean, the rest of the ancient Ethiopia.
We're not done. Let's click. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So we're validating, which I appreciate. And then I have a question for you. Okay, so here it is. This is what he's talking about. Is this a picture that's inside your book?
Certainly.
Okay. So the question then would be this in particular sea called the Ethiopian Sea, which was formerly known as Atlantic. So that's correct. Okay. But it doesn't invalidate the point of what Zephaniah says, because Zephaniah says rivers of Ethiopia. This is a sea of Ethiopia. So tell us how you're connecting this Ethiopian sea to Zephaniah chapter 3, verse number 10.
Go back to Zephaniah.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave this map up and we're going right here. There's Zephaniah right here. And it says that it's from the rivers, beyond the rivers. Meavar, from crossing over the Lanahare, okay, the rivers of the Cushi, of the Cush, okay, to my Athar, or Atharai, the daughter of my dispersed, my Poots, the ones that I put out. Yavalun, the Minkati, my offering, okay. So we know that to be in this text, the Me'aver, okay, which means from beyond. Preposition on the front of this is a mem, which means from, and then avar means to cross over. Okay, so they're going to cross over these rivers. Okay, from beyond to. Okay, so this first part of here too, right here, this lamed right here, I'm going to make everybody aware to prove the point. This is a preposition. This is a preposition. Prepositions give you direction. It tells you where something is in relation to time and space. So this first letter here, this mem right here, means from. He says from crossing over to. This is where you get mixed up when you look at from beyond, okay? Because it's from crossing over, not from just only beyond. It's from crossing over. But the preposition is, they said the rivers. This is a translation problem because the Hebrew word for the is not a lamed. A preposition for the is the Hebrew letter ha.
See, there's an issue with that in the Strong's?
What's that?
See, there's an issue with the Strong's?
What I'm saying to you, Aki, my beloved, is the fact that they said the rivers. And it's not the rivers, it's two or four. So they're going from crossing over to rivers of Cush, not the rivers. This is not a definite article. The word the in English is called a direct object marker, the rivers. It is not the rivers. Okay. Just like you brought out, you said it was in Isaiah 18. I'll show you the difference, just so you'll know that I'm telling you the truth, okay? If you go back to Isaiah chapter number 18 that you brought us first to, you'll see that there is a definite article on which is a hay, that is on that river that we talked about, Nahar, which is 18 and what? Here it is, 18:1. It says, Hoi, Aretz, Zalza, Panayim, or Kafanim, the wings upon which from, again, from, okay? This is why you got to be careful, from. It's interesting that they didn't say from here, though, when they did this one. They just put beyond. So you can see, again, they're not being consistent. The one we just left from Zephaniah had the mem and it said from, crossing over, because that's what avar means, where you actually get your Hebrew word ivri from crossing over. And then here they said it's a the. That's what they said. And I'm going to show you something so you can know that this right here is two or four. This right does not ever represent the. It's not a direct object marker or a definite article. So let's go ahead and prove the point of what's going on. So when you look at this, I'm going to click right here on, let me see the phrase. Let me see. No, those are all the different places. I don't want that. Oh, here you go. See, they do a lot of damage because people don't really know. Okay, so here's the. I'm gonna push on the. Okay. Oh. Okay. We got the all over the place. That's not what I want. Or not, excuse me, what I'm looking for. Go back here to this. Let's push on that. Oh, here you go. Okay, that's telling us what this is. Okay, so let's click on here. Oh, so Dawid is right. All right, so the lamed again is a preposition. I'll click on it for you. It's right here. It lets you know there's a Hebrew preposition, and that's that right there. Okay, it's not a direct object marker, so it's not pointing to some specific in particular river. So it doesn't let you know what rivers. Okay. When you got the letter, hey, if you just push on preposition right here, it should tell you it's a figure of speech, right? It tells you the location. I clicked on it. Why did I click on it? Because hopefully they can give us the whatchamacallit. They could give us some, let us know what the hey, if I can find a hey, so it can show you what it means. But a preposition is not a definite article. Okay. That's for sure. Preposition introduces a phrase, describes the word concept within a sentence, usually a noun or verb. Prepositions show direction, location, as I told you, that has to do with time and space, and introduce an object. They are usually followed by an object. Okay, so it just lets you know what that is. But simplified grammar PV. Okay, here you go. Here's a PDF of simplified grammar. Okay. So when you look at the simplified grammar, it tells you, and you can click on this, which is a great tool. Once you look in this, you're going to see what a direct object marker is. So letters, vowels and letters, the schwa. This is a great little tool that I don't even use, that it should use it. But I'm going to prove to you that it gives you the Hebrew alphabet. So if you want to learn the Hebrew alphabet, you can. If you want to learn cursive, you can. It tells you what the letters are. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the, not looking for the vowels. You want to learn the vowels? You want to do that?
Unfortunately, on the East Coast, it's getting late on my end. I want to kind of finish what I'm saying.
Okay, sure. I just want to make this one point. They got all kind of things. Okay. I don't have it. I don't see it up here. I don't see their, oh, here it is. There is no indefinite article in Hebrew, meaning there's no a in there, okay? Like we have in English, which is the a or the an. The noun by itself is typically translated based on the context of a passage, okay? With English indefinite article, which is a or an, the definite article in Hebrew, which is the, is written as a hey, as I've been saying. This is a hey with the letter ah, so it's ha. So if it was the river, it would be ha nahar, but it's not. It's la nahar, meaning two or four, preposition. This is a definite article, okay? So, and the first letter of the word is attached, to, contains what is called a dagesh forte in it, which has a dot in the middle of the word, which is going to tell us right here, it's making reference to whatever they're talking about. This dot right here that's in the middle of this mem, okay? But for all demonstration purposes, I just wanted to prove to you that the letters that you've been talking about are not a definite article. So it's not talking about what you're talking about. Here it is a preposition right here. It's not a definite article. You have to concede to that. And we can finish up. I know it's late where you're at. I don't want to keep you up too late, but I just wanted to share that with the audience, that When you're talking about the river of, they went beyond, from beyond the river or the rivers. It's not the, it means any of those rivers, to those rivers. That's what it is. Okay. So you got two prepositions, a mem and a lament. Where's the hey at? I just proved it. Where's the hey? It's not there. And because it's not there, it means that it doesn't exist. So he's not talking about the sea of Ethiopia. I'm sorry. If it said Hayam of Ethiopia, I would say, yes, you're right. But it doesn't say that. So you're not able to authenticate. You can't authenticate it. Sorry.
All right, so let's say that's true. We do. Let's take the table. No problem. We do know that as I proved tonight, I gave you a couple of the tribes. I had a lot more to bring out, but I know it's getting late.
We'll do a follow-up show. I know it's late where you're at. I appreciate your time. Hopefully you won't take my words like I'm trying to assault you personally. I'm attacking what's been stated through the scholarship of what you're saying. And it's not you personally. It's the fact I know the language, I know the culture, I know the grammar, I know what's being said. It's hard to get around people who know the language and the culture and the grammar. If you know the grammar and you understand how something's being said, when someone tells you that a river is a sea, you'd be like, no, that's not true. If they try to tell you it's the river, they're beyond the river, then you would be like, no, that's not what it is. It's a lament, it's a preposition. If it was Ha River, then it'd be pointing to that river. What river? The river of Ethiopia. If it's rivers, then you know it's more than one. If it said Yam and it said the Sea of Ethiopia, and it should have said the Sea of Ethiopia. If the Sea of Ethiopia existed at that time, and he wanted to say that at that time, and that's the original name, then surely that would have been the Hayam of Ethiopia. But it wasn't. It's not.
I would love to vet that in Paleo Hebrew another time, man. It was an honor to be on your panel, brother. It's been a while. We tried to set this up, so it was mine. The honor was mine. The pleasure honor was mine.
Praise Yah.
We got it. We know each other personally off air, so we can definitely do a part 2 one day whenever we get a chance, man.
Absolutely. Any closing remarks?
Yeah. So my name is Rabbi Lewis again. I'm a published author with $35. Go to Amazon, type my name Rabbi Lewis. I got 3 books in the stock market. I'm a stock investor and Western religion. Check my work out. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. Shabbat shalom to you, Aki.